everybody. So in this video, I want to take a look at some NHL players that are off to really solid starts this season and surprisingly good starts this season. These are guys that you necessarily didn't expect to see up near the top of the league scoring sheet. Obviously, in some cases, the guys up there are guys that you would expect. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Mitch Marner. Those are star players that you expect to be up near the top of the league in scoring. The guys on this list, though, not exactly your first choice. Not exactly guys that I think expected to be this high in the league scoring. Even though we are only a few weeks into the NHL season, they are off to really, really nice starts. So today, we're going to look at 5 players off to surprisingly good starts this NHL season. And one thing I do want to say is that I am recording this on Monday, so some of these guys do play on Monday night, which means the stats could be different by the time that you guys see this on Tuesday. But as of this recording, this is what their stats are so far this year. So let's get into it. I just ask that you please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet. Both of those things are really, really helpful and greatly appreciated. But let's get started here. 5 NHL players off to surprisingly good starts in 2021. I don't really have these in any particular order, as in like one's better than the other. They're just 5 guys. But I want to start with James Van Riemsdyk. Because James Van Riemsdyk, left winger for the Philadelphia Flyers, is off to a phenomenal start after really having a down year last year. In 10 games played, he's got 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points, and is +2 on the season. I mean, he's been over a point per game this year. He's got 5 goals already on the season. Van Riemsdyk has been incredibly good for Philly this year. Massively better than he was last season. And it's really good to see because that was a contract that was becoming an issue for the Flyers. You know, they're paying him $7 million a year, and he really wasn't living up to that until now. But this year, at least to start these first 10 games, he's been worth every penny, and he's really putting up some really nice point production for Philadelphia. Number 2, Nicklas Backstrom from the Washington Capitals. 9 games played, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points, and a +1 rating. Nicklas Backstrom has been an underrated player in the NHL for a long time. He is tremendously good at passing the puck. And he's a great two-way center for the Washington Capitals and has been his entire career. But what I've been really impressed with Backstrom so far this season has been the goal scoring. He's got 5 goals in 9 games. That is a higher rate of goal scoring than we are used to seeing from Nicklas Backstrom. Oh, and he also has the 8 assists as well, which is about what you would expect. So his passing is still completely there and up to par. His goal scoring is higher than normal. He's got 13 points in 9 games, and he's been absolutely massive for Washington, particularly with Evgeny Kuznetsov missing games because of COVID protocols. Backstrom has been huge for Washington. Number 3, Andrei Kopitar, another center, this time from the LA Kings. He has 8 games played this season, only has 1 goal, but he has 11 assists already. 11 assists in 8 games for Andrei Kopitar, 12 points on the year and an even rating. And listen, Andrei Kopitar has been a very good player for a long time in the NHL, but he's getting up there, well into his 30s now. The Kings aren't a great team like they were back when they were winning Stanley Cups, and his numbers have dropped off a little bit over the past few years. He's still been probably the best player on the LA Kings, but compared to when he was, in the prime of his career, his numbers have dropped. But so far this season, they have not dropped at all. 12 points in 8 games is absolutely fantastic. 11 assists. Andrei Kopitar is really having a great start to the season for LA. And if that team's able to push for a playoff spot this year and maybe steal that 4th spot in the West, Kopitar is going to be a big reason why. He is still the leader. He is still the guy that makes that engine run out in LA. And he's been really good to start this year. At number 4, I have Brock Boeser, right wing from the Vancouver Canucks. 11 games played, 8 goals, 3 assists for 11 points and an even rating. Boeser has reached half his goal total from last season in just 11 games this year. He only had 16 goals all of last season. Last year was a real down year for Boeser. But he looks like he's really getting back on track. And isn't this the Brock Boeser that the Vancouver Canucks have been waiting for? They've really been waiting for him to have that true breakout season and that true, where he gets out of the 50-ish point range and really gets up to being a 70, 80 point guy. And I think he has a real good shot at, playing at that pace. Obviously he's not going to reach 80 points in a 56 game season, but he has a chance to play at that pace where if this were an 82 game season, he would have been a 70 to 80 point guy as far as his scoring rate goes. And so far this season, he's been a point per game. 8 goals already in 11 games is absolutely phenomenal. This is the goal scorer that the Vancouver Canucks wanted when they drafted Brock Boeser, and they're certainly getting it so far this year. He's off to a great start. Like I said, he's already reached half of his goal total from last year. I expect him to score probably 25 this year, even in the shortened season. And if you were to stretch this kind of numbers out over the course of a full 82 game slate, he would be, probably around an 80 point guy. So really, really good start for Brock Boeser, and the Canucks need that. They need him to score, and he's been doing that so far. And finally, that brings us to our last one, number 5. I have Nikolaj Ehlers, left wing from the Winnipeg Jets. Nikolaj Ehlers is not a name that is really widely known so much around the NHL. He's certainly, when you think of Winnipeg guys, obviously Laine's not there anymore, but Laine came to mind, Scheifele, Wheeler, even Kyle Connor. Ehlers is quite a bit underrated and is kind of that one step down from those guys that everyone talks about with the Winnipeg Jets. But so far this season, in 8 games played, Ehlers has 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points, is a +8 on the year, and is really having a fantastic season so far in the scoring department on the second line for Winnipeg. Just a really, really good start for a guy who is not that well known around the league. 11 points in 8 games, obviously over a point per game. Fantastic start for Ehlers. And the Jets in general have been really good offensively to start this year. Kyle Connor's putting up numbers as well. Andrew Kopp's putting up numbers. So their wingers are scoring. And Ehlers is one of those guys that is getting a lot of production done for the Winnipeg Jets. So Nikolaj Ehlers, number 5 on the list. Really, really good start for him. So those are 5 players that I wanted to talk about who I think are kind of under the radar guys, off to really, really good starts. And, obviously this list wasn't for guys like McDavid and Draisaitl and Marner and these guys who are expected to put up point totals like that. These are guys that are a little bit off the radar a little bit as far as, scoring at this rate goes, but they've had really, really, really nice starts to the season. So James Van Riemsdyk, Nicklas Backstrom, Anze Kopitar, Brock Boeser, Nikolaj Ehlers, phenomenal starts for all 5 of those guys. And they're certainly not the only 5 guys that I could have put on this list either. Joe Pavelski's off to a tremendous start. And there are plenty of other guys as well that could be on here. But I just wanted to pick 5, and those were the 5 that I picked. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon, merchandise store, and donation link down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.